Hello and welcome back to F1 22 Driver Career Mode. My name's Chris, welcome along, and today we are headed to Italy, and we've been on an incredible run of form recently. We got our first win in France a couple of races ago, and we got another podium, a second place in Spa for the Belgian Grand Prix. So we're looking good, and here's how we're looking in terms of development. McLaren are just ahead of us at the moment, so if we can bring some good upgrades, we might be able to get ourselves up there and a little bit closer to Red Bull, who seems to be falling back just a tiny bit from Mercedes and Ferrari. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Ferrari have pretty much dominated this championship so far. You can see from Charles' results right there just how good they're doing. He's won almost every race so far, so I would say it's a foregone conclusion that they're going to win this, but we'll see. There's still time for things to change, but we are going to bring, not for Italy, but we are going to bring a major ERS upgrade to Japan, which will be the next race. So just having a look at what we can get on the car before then. And we did a little event a little while ago for charity, and we've got some driver acclaim because of it, so we'll take that. And now we'll head to the track, have a little go in some F8s, and then we'll go qualifying and see what we can do. We're probably going to have to take grid penalties here, because we haven't taken new components for a little while. So we will be starting near the back, I would imagine. Good resource points though, which means we can put those towards upgrades as we move along in the season. We're obviously trying to protect upgrades going into Season 2 at the moment, so we can put some of that towards it. Anyway, we're going to be taking new components, everything we can take a new one of. Obviously we haven't used all 4 turbos yet, so we can't take a new one of those yet, but we will put the new one. We have taken 4, we just put the third one back on. Interesting. Gearbox is the one that we haven't taken 4 of, so we'll put the fresh one on, completely fresh components going into Monza, and we'll go qualifying and see where the pace is, I suppose. We obviously won't be qualifying well. There's no point wasting the mileage, but yeah, let's get a feel for the track, get a feel for it in qualifying trim, and let's see what we can do as we have done a few laps here. We look to be improving. Oh, a bit of a wobble. We are improving by a great deal here. A good second up on our previous times.
Okay, there's 2 minutes left in this session and we're in the drop zone. We need a quick lap or that's qualifying over for us.
In P6, which would get us into Q2, but of course I don't think we're going to bother with that because, well, what's the point? So yeah, P6, we've obviously got a massive grid penalty. Esteban Ocon looking decent as well down there in P10, but we're going to leave it there for qualifying. We're not going to bother running for the rest of it. And we've got a 90% chance of rain. I would say that's pretty much a given. And it's going to rain for the start of this race.
Welcome back to one of only 2 countries that has held a race every year since the very first Formula One World Championship in 1950. It is, of course, Italy, one of the great racing nations. And it's time to get underway for the Italian Grand Prix. With the rain coming down here at the 3.6-mile Monza circuit, the low drag setups preferred by most teams could cause them some problems in today's Grand Prix. So watch out for cars struggling for grip around the Curva Michele Alboreto. That's the Parabolica to you and me, the last and most demanding of this track's 11 corners. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and starting next to them is George Russell. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Hamilton, Sainz, Max Verstappen and Bottas, Mick Schumacher, Tsunoda, Perez and Lando Norris, Ricciardo, they've taken a grid penalty, Magnussen, Esteban Ocon and Gasly. Vettel, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Albon, Nicolas Latifi, they've taken a grid penalty, and Guan Yu Zhou. Stroll and Marshall. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
We're not seeing any technical issues coming off the practice starts. Watch the RPM on the full start. We don't want you to bog down.
Alrighty then, here we go for the formation lap for the Italian Grand Prix. We almost put it in the wall there, getting off the line, so let's not do that at the race start. Just a quick one. This is pre-patch. I recorded this pre-patch, so we haven't had the AI and handling issues. I have dealt with those so far, but I'll update you in a future episode as to what the situation is as we come round to start the Italian Grand Prix from the back after our engine penalties.
Okay, incredible parking there.
As we wait for the 5 red lights to illuminate. And we're underway in Italy. What's it going to be then from the back of the grid? What can we do? Good start in the wet, I would say. That's pretty incredible. We normally get really bogged down at the start, but we're already up into 16th, now up into 15th as we head into turn 1. A few more places here, perhaps? Maybe, as we look to be P10, maybe P11, going 3 wide into the first corner with a Red Bull and a Haas. The Haas of Mick Schumacher, no, Magnussen, who's now behind us. We come out on top of that one. That was pretty lucky. We didn't get any damage there, which was I'm grateful for, because it would have been a long old race otherwise. But here we are then, finding ourselves from the back of the grid, now in the points as we look to make a move on Mick Schumacher. Through we go there, nice and easy. And now we're in P9. That was an unbelievable start to what I thought was going to be a difficult race. And it may still prove to be that way. But up front, we've got George Russell leading the way from Charles Leclerc, from Valtteri Bottas, who's in third. What's happening? He was up in these higher positions when we were in France as well, I think. And just having the time of his life in that Alfa Romeo. Lewis Hamilton just behind, his former teammate, of course. And Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris bringing up the top 6. Max Verstappen, though, down in P7. I assume that's from grid penalties, but you can never be too sure. And here we are, P9, just behind Yuki Tsunoda. I was not expecting the first lap to go this well. So now it's just time to get our heads down and hopefully make some ground. They say the wet is a great equaliser, and I would agree with that, because, yeah, somehow we've absolutely pulled a mad one. But on to the second lap then.
Top 10 now, keep it up.
Marcus is stating the obvious, of course, as we head down into turn 1. Look at Mick though, he is on the charge, and here's Yuki. Oh, a bit deep there. That was never going to be a move, was it? We were way too far back to compromise ourselves just a little bit, but Perez and Schumacher are too busy behind squabbling amongst themselves, which means we do manage to get away with that one.
That overtake button a bit more.
At least for now. Up front though, Charles Leclerc is going to look to make a move on George Russell as we head into the third lap. I would say DRS will be enabled this lap, but it will not because of the conditions. George Russell round the outside, Charles Leclerc now round the outside on the opposite, and looks like Charles is in the lead of the race now. As we maybe look to make a move on Tsunoda here into turn 1. A big send. Here's Tsunoda's point of view. He's going to stick it side by side across the curb, and he spun us around. Unbelievable. Very reminiscent of Max and Lewis last year, except we didn't end up on top of each other. Bumped up on the curb, spun us around. We were a bit aggressive there, to be fair, so we probably deserved that. But the safety cars come out because it caused a bit of a traffic jam behind us as we corrected ourselves. So safety car out. Alex Albon has been disqualified because he got beached on the curb. He literally can't move. You can hear his AI is revving the engine trying to get the car moving, but yeah, he's got nothing. So he'll be out of this race, just sat on the curb there, and that is why the safety car is out. Oh boy, this has been an exciting race so far. On to the end of lap 6. The safety car is going to be looking to come in on this lap, I believe. Yep, off it goes, lights out. And yeah, Charles Leclerc will lead us away from the front of the pack. Kevin Magnussen is our next target, who obviously got ahead of us when we spun around. No, he didn't actually. He was already ahead of us. No, he wasn't. No, okay. He did get ahead of us because Yuki was just ahead of us. On the restart though, back to the live action, and we didn't really get the jump that we would have wanted there. We got a bit of a moment coming out of the Parabolica, but we are going to send it. Max Verstappen sends it, and we follow him through to take not only 1, but 2 places, maybe 3 places. Lando Norris on the left of us there, giving him plenty of space. We don't want to get spun around again. But here we go. Max Verstappen also getting through on Carlos Sainz just ahead. So he's having a bit of a better race than it was looking like at the start, as are we. We started last, don't forget. Because we've got a yellow flag behind. What's happened? Maybe we can get a look at that. It looks like Lance Stroll, yep, he's out of the race.
Fortunately, the marshals have managed to clear it up in time, and there are so far no plans for a safety car.
That's good, because we just came off the back of one. But here's what happened. Lance Stroll just completely lost control and ploughed into the back of... who even was that? Sergio Perez. Sergio Perez having an absolute mare down there at the back of the grid. I wonder what's happened there. I wonder if he pitted under the safety car thinking it was a free pit stop and screwed himself. I don't know, but we've got another yellow flag in the final sector by the looks of it.
By 4.6 seconds.
And it's Sergio Perez, just saying he's having a bit of a mare of a race, and he's slowing down. Look on the mini-map on the bottom left of your screen right now. Sergio Perez is out.
They're retiring from the race.
Oh dear, not the race Red Bull would have been wanting. But moving on to lap 9, we've got another yellow in sector 1, and it looks like a Red Bull going slow. Can it be Max Verstappen also having issues here as we come into the pit lane? Max Verstappen is out of the session. What is happening to Red Bull today? They are not having a good time. Yuki Tsunoda down his 17th.
Perfect job on the turn in there, mate. Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one.
After the incident with ourselves, I would imagine he got wing damage from flipping us around. But we're on to the Inters,
okay,
and also quite a way back.
You'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross onto the track.
We're quite a way back from Latifi at the moment, but everybody else is on the wet tyres. And I think,
your delta's negative, which means you're going too fast. Reduce your pace.
Okay, what have we got here? VSC.
Maintain positive delta.
That was because of Max, and I completely missed that. So yeah, that was because of Max. We do get screwed a little bit because we were going too fast. We had to slow right down to catch the delta. So yeah, we got a bit screwed there as we cut the chicane, giving ourselves a little bit of floor damage. Not what we would be needing right here. So we've gone from, well, what are we up to? P5, P6, and all the way back down to P15. However, almost the entire field needs to pit onto the intermediate tyres at some point, I would imagine. As you can see just ahead, Ricciardo and Gasly are in, Bottas is in. That's looking good for us because we should overtake them here. Yes, we do overtake them up into P11, and it looks like some of the front runners, Lewis Hamilton was up there at the front, he's pitted already for into 7 seconds up the road. So we've still got a bit to do. But I have faith that we can probably do something, at least, as Ocon comes in for his intermediate tyres, Latifi as well, and we set a fastest lap. Back up into P5. We did jump Norris, didn't we, at one point? So we're back, I think, where we were before the safety car, to be honest. So good progress from us, but we're really going to have to get our foot down, get our head down if we're going to catch the front runners. I don't think we'll be able to do it, to be honest. We just haven't really got the pace in this car. But we've been up there at points in the season, but there's just certain tracks where we just can't catch them once they get away. We haven't got enough to come back. If we're there with them, we can generally keep with them. But if they get away, we're just screwed. But behind us then is probably where we should keep our focus, because Pierre Gasly is on a charge as he's now 2 tenths behind us. He's going to look to make a move into the Parabolica. This is a ballsy move. We might just about get well, we don't get DRS because it's wet, but we may have just got DRS there if it was dry. But yeah, into the Parabolica, Pierre Gasly goes through up into P5, and we just need to hold on to him as we go down into turn 1. We might be able to make a move, maybe. I thought we would switch for the inside, but we're not. We're on the outside as we head into turn 1. What's it going to be? This all looks a little bit too familiar. We back out of that one. We don't want to get ourselves into a situation like we did earlier on in the race. But now Pierre Gasly is absolutely stormed through. Kevin Magnussen is right behind us as well, so we're going to have to really keep an eye on this one. We pitted a couple of laps earlier than everybody else onto these Inters, so they're on fresher tyres. And of course it's raining, so the performance isn't such an issue. But yeah, this is going to be a tricky one. If we're going to keep our P6, ideally we want to fight again for the P5, but P6 would be good. It's generally where we've been this season, but Kevin Magnussen, I think, will be looking to change that. However, on to lap 22, we are catching Gasly again, deploying a bit of ERS down the main straight. And we're going to go for the move. He defends the inside line, but of course, if we can get around the outside, we don't get around the outside. We could have got ourselves onto the inside for the chicane, but we backed out of it because it didn't quite look like it was going to work, and probably feeling a bit apprehensive after the incident we had there earlier with Tsunoda, of course. Onwards, however, to lap 26, Kevin Magnussen is absolutely gaining on us, and well, we've got our work cut out if we're going to hold on to this P6, let's say that much. Gasly seems to just have picked up the pace and is 1.5 seconds up the road at this point, but Magnussen is right there, and he wants some P5 action, I think. P6 action rather. Here he comes, and you can see him approaching. As we head on to the final lap, he's moved to the inside. We squeeze him a little bit to the inside. Side by side here, and he's got past as we head into turn 1, but we're not going to give up that easily. We outbrake him into turn 1. We're now side by side as we come out the chicane, and we've been spun around again. Kevin Magnussen just absolutely yeeting us off the track. I'd like to have another look at that. Here's what happened from my point of view almost. Well, it's off board, but we're focusing on my car. Look at this. We just get hooked. He just moves in. And yeah, he loses a front wing because of it. But of course now our race is ruined. Here's what happened from my onboard. We hopped across the curb, kind of Yuki Tsunoda style. And yeah, that's significant floor damage and a lot of traffic. So we couldn't even get back on the track quickly enough to recover any positions, and that puts us all the way down in P13, unfortunately. So not the way we would have wanted to end this race. It was going super well from the back of the grid. We could have had a P5, maybe a P6, I would say, at the end. But yeah, we just got a bit aggressive with K-Mag, and he got aggressive back, and we didn't give each other enough space. Is what it is. No points today, but what a mare for Red Bull. Both of their cars out of this race.
That's a spectacular victory, and with it, the championship is secure. It's been a magnificent season, and they thoroughly deserve the cheers of the crowd here today. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
Ferrari are at it again. An excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
Well, that was eventful, wasn't it? George Russell led us away at the beginning and was looking like he was going to get a win for Mercedes, but Charles Leclerc said no thank you, and wrapped up the championship at the same time. So absolutely brilliant performance for Ferrari at their home Grand Prix. Shame for Russell. Could have done with a win, but is what it is. We were on for a great result, especially given that we started at the back, and we just got ourselves into a couple of scraps there and came out worse off, which is yeah, it's unfortunate, but what can you do? Sometimes you just got to go for it. And yeah, Esteban Ocon did get a few points for us, so good for the constructors. We should hold on to that P4 position at least for now, but yeah, Charles Leclerc, fastest lap and a race win. Just ahead of George Russell in second. Carlos Sainz got himself up onto the podium, and yeah, Lewis Hamilton just shy of that. But Red Bull not having a good weekend overall this weekend. The two obviously main cars, Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez, are both out of the race. Yuki Tsunoda had his incident with us. The only one up there was Pierre Gasly, who got a P5 in fairness, so could have been a lot worse. But yeah, there's a few DNFs there. Sergio Perez, Max Verstappen, of course, Lance Stroll after he smashed into the back of Perez, and I completely missed the other one. Oh, Alex Albon, of course, he got beached, didn't he, on the curb. So yeah, what a race. It was an interesting one, but P7 for us in the championship still. We seem to be pretty strong there at the moment, 77 points. And in the Constructors, P4, which is exactly where we want to be. We want to be going into the next season being in P4, and we're going to aim for a P3 next season. But if you enjoyed this video, leave us a little like, subscribe if you're new, of course, leave us a comment. And next time out, we're in Japan. Not one that I've done on career mode before, even in the last game. So should be interesting. Stick around for that one, and I'll see you then. Bye.